Namaskar. I'm Assistant Professor Kritika Dev from LJ School of Law. And today, as you can see on your screens, we will be dealing with defamation. Now, defamation is a thing that you must have heard in your day-to-day life. It must, according to me, it must not be a new term for me. New term for you. I'm extremely sorry. New term for you. You must have heard this term very often somewhere, maybe in the newspapers, or maybe you must have heard people talking about defamation, or maybe in a movie, or number of movies these days. The term defamation is very frequently used. So, when it comes to defamation, it is both an offense and a tort. It is also covered under tort. We can, of course, go for the compensation. And here, when it comes to IPC, the other person who defames you will be charged under Indian Penal Code. So now let's see the things which are attached to defamation. Now, as I said, you must have heard this term before. So when it comes to defamation, what do you exactly understand by it? Somebody defamed me by saying this, or this leads to defamation. I was defamed by that person. Now, what do we actually mean by defamation? Now, if somebody says anything against you, or I can say, in order to understand this picture, before me actually dragging you to the definition, just see what these people are doing. In the picture, you can see that they read something in the newspaper, right? They have read something, and they are then looking at the other person. Now, of course, that picture is there of the other person, but that other person might be there or might not be there. But they have read something related to that very person in the newspaper or in any of the magazine, and then they're laughing on him, right? So there must have been something of a defamatory nature which was being published against him, and then the people are making fun of him. Now, if there is something in the newspaper which is of a defamatory nature against the person, and which actually brought down his image in the society or the place, society means wherever he is residing or public at large, then that particular thing leads to defamation. Now, how many kinds of, or in what different ways are there through which defamation can be committed, and are there any exceptions, and if there are exceptions, what are the exceptions, we will see in today's lecture. So this picture is clear by now, I guess. So let's see how defamation can be committed. So firstly, section 499 of Indian Penal Code defines defamation. Now, what do we understand by defamation here? Firstly, defamation can be committed by words, by sign, or visible representation. Tough to understand? Let me give you one example. First, say, again, A, B, very, our favorite parties here. So A is there and B is there, correct? Now A generally by words just simply says, B is a thief. A does not know anything about him. A simply states that statement in public at large, and he says that A says that B is a thief. And of course, that is not true in nature. He simply stated in order to bring his image down in the eye of people or in the eye of a prudent man. So, here, as we could see, that he came up with that allegation by words in order to bring his reputation down, right? In order to bring the other person's reputation down. So, now that was in defamation by words, correct? Because he had no clue whether it was true or not. Okay, and nothing of that sort was true when he was making that statement. So, in order to make you understand what defamation is, right? So, clear cut example. Now, by signs. Now, what do we understand by signs? Let's take an example. First, say a robbery has taken place, right? The police officer came to that locality and he was inquiring about people, right? So he was inquiring from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and number of people. So by then he came to the last person, or he came to the other person, And then he was inquiring that, do you know who has committed robbery? And then he did not say a word. He just pointed out in order to defame here. So he did so in order to defame, but he did not speak a word. He just pointed out like this on A. He just said, he just pointed out his finger. He was like, he just pointed out like that. So A was standing there. So he's pointing out like that, right? And of course, he had no clue that who committed robbery. But in order to defame, he pointed out like that on A. So he's pointing, when he pointed his fingers towards A, it led to defamation because he did so in order to defame, and that was through signs. It was through a sign. He was just pointing out. So though he did not commit he did not say a word. So there he could not take a plea that I did not state a word. So I will not be booked under this section, right? But sign is also a ingredient here. Then visible representation, right? He just made a picture, and when police was inquiring in the same example, he just made a picture of he was a good artist. So when the police officer was inquiring, what he just did, he just standing there bit far, not very far, bit far from the crowd or at the back, he just showed that very picture. So that was the visible representation, right? He showed that very picture, and as he was a good artist, he could make a good sketch of A, and he had no clue that who had committed robbery. So there it was through a visible representation, and he defamed A in order to bring his reputation down in the eye of people, right? So now when it this is about by words, by signs, by visible representation. Now when it comes to by words, it is two: spoken or written, right? So let's take the same example, who committed robbery. So or in the first example, I guess we took the theft example. So the question was, who committed theft? So A pointed on B that he committed theft. So that was spoken. Or he could have written in a chit and could have given it to the police officer stating that, A stated that B had committed the robbery or B had committed theft. So it was through writing. So when it comes to by words, it could be either spoken or written. I hope it is clear. So let's see what the definition says. The definition here says, whoever by words, either spoken or intended to be read, as we have seen, or by signs or by visible representation, makes or publishes any imputation concerning any person intending to harm, or knowing or having reason to believe that such imputation will harm the reputation of such person, is said, except the cases hereinafter expected, to defame that person. Right? So, as I said, there are exceptions to defamation. So, we'll see the exceptions. But before that, here you could see we have seen words spoken on written, signs, visible representation. Now, if we had done so, if we had made such, signs, representation, or words, or publishes, you remember the picture that we were discussing about? It was published as in people, anybody can see. The person had published it, so anybody has anybody can read that. So if he makes such things or publishes such things, by having in mind that such thing, or by publishing or making such statements or making such visible representations, he will harm the reputation. Defamation is nothing but an offense against your reputation. You are, by property, by anything, you're not being harmed. But more than property, what matters to a person is his reputation. So that is an direct direct harm on your reputation. So he has reason to believe that through those words or gestures or representation or signs, you will be, or your reputation will be harmed in front of the public, right? So this is about section 499. Now let's quickly see the exceptions. They are not tough to get, so let's read them very quickly. Now the exception says, the first one, imputation of truth which public good requires to be made or published. Now, the best defense that could be taken is the statement made must be true in nature. So, in all the examples, if it was true, you remember the robbery example or the theft example, if they were true, then he will not be prosecuted under this section. And it was made in good faith, of course, in order to get hold of the true accused or true person who has committed robbery or theft. He gave such a statement, and he proved them to be true by showing all the reasons why he has given those statements. Then he will be covered under this very uh, exception, and he will be exempted from the punishment. Public conduct of public servants. So when it comes to any public servant, you can see in the newspapers also commenting on the gestures or commenting on any of the acts of the public servants. So if that is done so, then it is one of the exceptions. Third one is conduct of any person touching any public question, right? So it is a broader you can say a broader version of the second point. Second point was just covering the public servants. Here, every any person who's touching a public question, any question which is of a public nature, and anybody giving a statement on it, as you can see in the news is a lot, that anybody is saying, tweeting or saying anything of a public nature, or of a something that is touching the public question, then if anybody makes any statement on that very person in good faith, then he will be exempted. The fourth point, publication of reports of proceeding of courts. Of course, you see the in the news is also at times you see what judgment has been given by the court, and the next point is also related to it, or any conduct which was being there in the court and which you get to see published next day in the newspaper, then of course the true proceedings or the true judgment which is being given by the court, then you are protected under this very exception. Merits of public performance. Now, merits of public performance means anything which is in a public domain, right? You see movies, you see songs. People are so free to criticize any of the movie, or to say openly that I did not like that movie, because that performance was in public domain. People, they performed for the public, so the reviews could be good or bad. So they are free to give their reviews. As you can see in the channels also, people review about the movie. They say the movie was very bad. So they are actually protected under this very exception. Otherwise, it could lead to defamation also. The director can come and charge the person, or book that person under section 499 by saying that that was defamation. But because he bought that very performance in public domain, and public was free to give their opinion, so of course it is there. The next point is censure passed in good faith by person having lawful authority over another. Now, if any censure is passed by a person, for say, if of course parents are there, they have censored some acts of the children, right? Just an example, because they have the lawful authority over the children. The children cannot say, how did you do that in public? You defamed me, right? Or they said anything to their kid, not do not do that. Now the kid cannot go for defamation here, because they have the lawful authority, and they, in order to protect the kid, right? And of course in good faith. So censorship, when it comes in good faith by a person having lawful authority, then it is of course protected. Accusation preferred in good faith to the authorized person, right? When you go for complaint, supposing you have a complaint regarding the municipal corporation that there is some problem here or there, and then you go with an accusation that they did not cover the road, there's so many holes in the road, but you did so in good faith and to the authorized person, to the person who could actually solve your problem. The next is imputation made in good faith by a person for protection of his or others' interest. And the last one is caution intended for good of a person to whom conveyed offer public good. Now here you see when it comes to the public good, any imputation is made on any person, and that is made for public at large. So let's not take any political name here, but some accusations are being made there in good faith, right? In order to spread awareness, for the for people at large. So when those statements are being made, then they are protected under this very section. So I guess with this, things are clear about defamation kinds, and they could be made in different ways, and what are the exceptions to it. And if you are covered under these exceptions, any of these exceptions, then you will not be booked under section 499, right? So of course, it is very easy to understand, and I hope you must have understood it. With that, I rest my lecture. And as I always say, keep studying, keep revising, keep your books open, and feel feel free to read always. Thank you so much for listening.